Terumot Perek Gimel Mishnah Gimel. So now we're going to talk about Shutfin partners. And the Rambam says that partners don't have to ask each other for permission in order to take off Terumah. I.e., if I own together with somebody else Terumah, produce, either one of the partners can take off Terumah without asking permission. Here we go. It says the Rambam Perot Shutfin. This is Perek Dalid Halacha Chet in the Rambam. Terumot Perot Shutfin Chayavin B'Terumah U'Masot. Partnered, owned produce you have to take off Terumah U'Masot. Shneimar Masot Teichem. Your Ma'aser in the plural. Afilu Sheshnaim, even if it belongs to two. V'Ashutfim and partners Ein Tzrichin Litov Shut Zemizeh. They don't have to ask permission. Ela call it the Remeyen Trumato Truma. Anyone who takes Truma, either one of them who takes Truma, Trumato Truma, it is considered to be Truma. Okay, let's go back to our Mishnah. So therefore, our Mishnah says, what if each two partners took off Truma and didn't, irrespective of each other, they didn't know? Hashutfin shetarmu ze'echarze. If you have two partners that gave Truma, one after the other, okay, and they didn't know, or they didn't, irrespective of each other, Rabbi Akiva Omer Truma Shnehem Truma. So Rabbi Akiva says that Truma, both of them is Truma. Says the Bartanura, Truma Shnehem Truma, Hainu meaning, the Truma kol echad mehem chetziat Truma ve'chetziat chulin. So Rabbi Akiva says each one takes off Truma, half of their Truma is Truma because they obviously they don't want to give double. Nimtza, so it turns out. If I have 50 sa'ah, and each one gives a sa'ah, because they give 1/50th, 2%, okay, each one's as half of a sa'ah is considered truma, and the other half is not considered truma. Okay, now of course he has a sa'ah, so the Kahati says it's demai. Therefore he has to give the kohen the whole sa'ah, but the kohen has to pay him for the half sa'ah that isn't truma. So obviously the kohen gets the whole thing, but he has to pay for half and a lower price, the price that it would cost to buy Truma, which is cheaper on the market because only Kohanim can buy it. The Chachamim say, no, Truma Tarishon Truma. The first one is Truma, not the second one. Rabbi Yossi, and most of the Farshim say, Rabbi Yossi is explaining the Chachamim, Im Taram HaRishon Kishiur, if the first guy gave Kishiur, the appropriate measurement, Ein Truma Tasheni Truma. Then the second one is not Truma. V'im Lo Taram HaRishon Kishiur, and if the first one did not give Kishiur, Truma Tasheni Truma. So let's look at the Bartanur, what it means. If the first guy gave the right amount, Truma, then his Truma is Truma. The Bartanur gives another explanation, but then he rejects it, so I'm not going to go into it. Okay, but if the first guy gave the right amount, then the second guy giving, he didn't want to give more than the proper 2%, and therefore, Ein Truma Tasheni Truma. Because it also depends on their attitude, their understanding. Obviously, the assumption is the second guy never would have taken Truma if he knew the first guy did. But if the first guy did not give the right amount, then Truma Tasheni Truma. We'll stop here. If you have any comments or questions, as always, feel free to contact me at rspolter@gmail.com. I will dedicate this learning, as we almost always do, to the memory of my father, Rav Simcha Bar Yitzchak Kalman. Have a great day.